Hello and welcome to the Living World of Darkness, Changeling the Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition venue. Today's scene takes place in, several locations, but we're starting out in Maurice's shop, where Misha, after venturing into the dreaming with her paramour, has returned to take care of some tasks on her to-do list. And top of her to-do is Maurice. No? Okay. Anyway.
I mean, sure, he is at the top of everybody's list, right?
He has a certain je ne sais quoi.
I mean, just look at those eyes.
Yeah, no, she probably would have called ahead because that seems to be an appropriate sort of thing. He's not like someone who stands on a whole lot of, that stuff. But she would have just kind of been like, "Hey, you around? Yeah, I'm around. Okay, cool. I'll be there in a minute."
And he'll be in like the garage portion of his shop. Dixie mans the front of it. So she would have waved like hello to you and pointed to where Maurice is.
Yeah, Dixie would get like a thumbs up, and then as she kind of headed towards the garage, and tried looking around whatever large things, cars, bits of cars, fenders, I don't know, that might be in the way, just trying to find him because she knows he's in there somewhere.
Yeah, he's currently underneath a lifted like classic truck, and you hear him kind of like mumbling to himself. He does car things to a car. I really am at a lack of proper vernacular to throw at this. So,
it has something to do with his discombobulator.
Yeah.
Goddamn snake belt. Snake belt needing a goddamn fucking like a boa constrictor. What this thing needs here is like a cobra. Cobra, strike fast, keep moving, blah blah blah.
Yeah, if it is anything like that, she's just going to be doing one of those things to announce herself so that he would realize and not be too lost in what he's doing, because she knows how that feels.
Yeah, you'll hear like a thunk as he like bumps his head underneath the car for a moment as you clear your throat. Damn! 1 second. He'll
yeah, she moves towards him anyway, because if he hit his head hard enough, he might be bleeding.
He's not bleeding. He emerges from like where he was working and like wiping his hands clean. Misha, how are you doing? What can I do for you today?
Well, I was going to come in here and be all kind of smug and call you councilman, and then we could have a laugh about it. But then I realized that's just kind of silly because that has nothing to do with what I wanted to talk to you about.
Fair enough, I guess.
It's cool. I wanted to show you some things that have come into my hands from an unnamed source that let's just say I know somebody who ended up with this, and they didn't know what to do with it either, and it ended up in my hands. And I recognized some of the markings on it, and I've wanted to make sure that here. And she's just going to like pull this box out of her bag. The one that so recently had the poison crap all over it. And she's going to hold it open in front of her, and then like flip the top up so that he can see like all the bits and pieces of jewelry. And there's probably no hiding the fact that this stuff is probably hot. At least a lot of it, because it's kind of half melted and stuff. Half melted down, half not. But she'll kind of point at one or two and be like, I saw your mark on some of these, and I just wanted to make sure that if it wasn't actually stolen from you, and if it is, I'm giving it back to you.
He gets real quiet as he looks at the two pieces that have his mark on them. And he like reaches into the box and just kind of looks at them and roll a perception empathy.
What do you mean, a thing that I actually brought up at some point recently?
What?
I got 0.
Okay.
I tried, though. It was a good effort.
He clears his throat. Like, there's like that long blink to kind of regain his composure. I made these for some friends of mine.
Her eyes narrow a little bit. Not in suspicion at him, but just at the whole scenario. Are your friends okay?
They were at the wedding.
Misha rolls rage.
Misha botches rage since she doesn't actually have that stat.
Can I roll glamour instead? An exploding glamour. It'll be sparkly. It's good.
Go to Bedlam.
I am so sorry.
I mean,
all right. Well, if you want them, they're yours. To do with as you wish.
what happened to him?
To the friends?
No. And he holds up the mangled pieces. This used to be a dove, and this is a little frog, and now they are like melty pieces of metal.
Well, I feel certain that someone. All right. This is my best guess. Based on what you're telling me and a little bit of knowledge that I've picked up. You know about my friend Maxine, right?
The hair that I wouldn't put on the rabbit or on the banner.
That's the one. There was a red cap there who, after she died, bit her finger off with a ring on it. I think this might have been gotten off the same red cap who maybe went around and did that to other people. That's my best guess right now.
Any idea what happened to the red cap?
Oh, I can't remember what Rav said. I think Rav did say that the red cap was dead. I think because otherwise Misha would have been out there trying to find this bitch. So and she'll just be like, I think she's dead.
Good. He just kind of looks at these two melted pieces and it's kind of gives a heavy sigh. You paid for these.
I didn't pay for them. Neither of us paid for them. Don't ask questions. They're yours.
Thanks. He walks over to his like workbench and he pulls open a drawer, puts the pieces in there, and just kind of like does that close and like look away movement.
I assume that they were just trying to steal shit off. Yeah, you get it.
I get it. Hell of a thing.
I'm sorry I brought it up to you. I didn't know that this was going to be...
Hey, it's all right. You didn't know. I'm not gonna fault you for that shit. He brought me something he thought was stolen from me.
I thought it might have been. You may, if you'd sold it to somebody, I wouldn't have been as worried about it.
It's all right. It is what it is.
I'm just not going to screw you over.
I appreciate that.
She just shrugs.
Probably about this. Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's about this point Charles is starting to make his way towards Maurice's shop. This is the first time he's been here. Unfortunately, he's never met Maurice, so he's not sure. He didn't necessarily have the wherewithal to call ahead, unfortunately. So he's erring on the side of forgiveness rather than permission. So more like, yes, Miss Dixie, he's going to be seeing the knocker up front soon. So he's probably observing the place, making sure that this is indeed the right spot that he was supposed to be going to.
Mm-hmm.
He sees the young knocker lady there for a moment, and he puts on his best winning smile with those diamond fangs before he makes his approach.
Dixie is behind the counter. She'll like do the quick glance up when like the bells above the door chime, but she immediately goes back to like looking at whatever she's like tinkering with at the counter, waiting for Charles's approach.
Charles just he waits at least a moment. He's being at least a little bit polite because she's working on whatever she's working. But by the time to where he feels the appropriate amount of time has passed, he finally goes, excuse me, is Maurice in?
She puts down like a small screwdriver, looks at Charles and down. He's with somebody at the moment. You wanna wait for a second?
Oh, I can wait. I'm in no rush.
She like looks him up and down. And how tall would you say you are?
He pauses for a moment and he thinks about that. 6'2".
Huh. Dixie, by the way, is 4'9". Very.
Yeah.
I've been working on something. You could be doing me a real big solid if you'd let me test this thing out real quick. I'd wear it myself, but I'm a little short for the mechanisms.
Well, if I'm going to be waiting for Maurice anyway, why not do a good turn?
Great. She like goes behind the like a small like area that's behind the counter. Like she comes back a moment carrying a backpack-sized machine, backpack-sized with backpack-like straps. And she goes, "Could you put this on real quick?"
Sure. You might have to help me on that one. I don't want to break anything.
Oh, of course. And she'll like hold up the straps for him to put them on.
He puts it on. I mean, it's a backpack for the most part, but probably fairly heavy. Probably really heavy.
Very. And she's going to move in front of him, and she clicks something in front, like on the in like the chest area, and then she says, "Okay, now to tighten the straps. Hold on to your ass." And she gives it a tap, and go ahead and roll stamina.
Yeah, let's roll all 3 dice of that.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 10s.
Cool. So it doesn't even affect you as this thing tightens to a like bone-crushingly tight.
It's because of the marble skin exodermis he has. Of course, it doesn't affect him.
But you can tell this thing's snug as a son of a bitch. Yeah. So yes, it binds really tight. She's like, all right, cool. Now, one more. And she gives it like a small pound with her fist. It's not enough to like knock the wind out of him. It is just her like pressing the button again.
Mm-hmm. Even then, there's still a bit of like a you have to put fucking effort into that kind of thing.
As large metallic wings shoot out of the backpack, and then whizzing past his ears come to guns on shoulder mechanisms, and they whip past alarmingly fast.
He's completely frozen for a long moment as he's Of course, the things he's focusing on is these two gun barrels that have jutted right past his ears, and he's got that frozen smile on his face, the one that's a little too wide. These aren't going to go off, are they?
Oh, not unless you press this here. And she says, as she points to like a trigger mechanism that would be like lower on the straps.
Good. He pointedly avoids putting his hands anywhere near it.
I appreciate that. Maurice would kill me if I shot this place up again.
You mean these things are loaded?
Well, what the fuck use are guns if they're not loaded?
Well, if you're testing them, perhaps you should put in at least, I don't know, blanks?
It gives you a look like you're a madman.
This is science, people!
Blanks. She's like eyeing the machinery. How's it feel? Does it feel balanced to you?
I think most people would find it a little too compressive.
Yeah, well, it's not going to get any less snug. I've tried. Last time I tried, it nearly snapped somebody's chest into their spine. So I went back to the beta version of the straps because I thought maybe people wouldn't want their bones actually broken.
Probably not. He takes a moment. He hates the fact that he actually has to breathe. It's also this, but it's even more noticeable thanks to these fucking straps. It's just like.
So, anything else? Like, you don't feel like heavier on one side or anything, right? Did the guns aren't pinching, are they?
No.
Good.
No, but they are blocking my peripheral.
Yeah, well, you don't really have to have that much of a peripheral when you're Skyborn. So. Who's gonna be on your sides?
Well, hopefully not other people in the sky.
Indeed, she says. All right. So I think it's good to go then. I'm going to retract the wings. Stay calm. She says.
He's way too fucking still.
Yeah. She once again pops the button and roll stamina.
Oh boy, let's see if he can do it this time. Oh, 3 successes. I mean, unless it's like 8 or something.
No. Okay, yeah. The wings like slap back into place. The guns disappear into the recesses of the backpack as well, and you feel the straps. Thankfully, first they constrict more, then they loosen.
Well, this is
a success.
I would have to say that this is a definitely an object of some ingenuity. Excuse me. Has it gotten its test flight yet?
No, I haven't found somebody willing to take it for a flight yet, and you seem a little concerned about the gun, so I'm gonna guess you don't want to go upwards.
Going upwards isn't the issue. I wouldn't mind one day. Once again.
Well, if you want me to strap you back in.
Maybe not today. Well, I in no rush today. I do have certain agendas. Perhaps another one. I don't think I got your name.
Dixie.
Dixie. A pleasure. You can call me Charles.
All right. She goes and puts the backpack away and comes back. Let me go get Maurice for you. He's taking his sweet ass time. And she'll open the door to the garage, and not like she won't actually leave the shop. She just hollers into the garage where Maurice is talking to Misha. Maurice, you got a fucking customer. No, I don't think he has a car. Anyways, Misha, you hear Dixie yell this at Maurice, who asks about the car.
Yeah. Misha's just kind of be like, if you have a customer, I can go. I just, wanted to ask about that.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry, I don't blame you for anything. Gonna come up front with me, or am I gonna leave you to mess around with the vehicles?
I mean, I think it'd be fun to mess around with the vehicles, but I think it might be more of a learning curve than you expect.
That's unfortunate, I guess. I could use somebody who's a little less distracted than D up there.
Well, I could certainly try to help. I'm pretty good at picking up on this stuff.
Well, let me know.
She kind of tries to grin at him. It probably falls a little flat, but she's trying to get out of that very somber mood from a second ago.
Yeah, so is he. So it's they're both probably falling a little flat because that is a depressing ass subject to discuss. Like, hey, remember that time our friends were killed?
Yeah.
And their body parts are bitten off for their jewelry.
Yay.
And look, someone else who can share in the pain.
Yeah, Misha's just gonna kind of pause really quickly and just be like, Maurice, any of these other pieces, do you recognize any of them? Or who made them?
He looks down at the pieces.
Because I know some of them are less mangled than others.
A lot of them look like they were commercially made.
Yeah, I just figured it didn't hurt to ask you, since I don't always know every single maker's mark. You know what I mean? Even if this is what I do, I don't know them all.
Yeah, we're not the tight-knit community we should be, I guess.
Fair enough. Just figured I'd ask. Yeah, I'll come up with you. At least, although to be fair, I don't think I'd break your cars anyway.
Well, my customer base is a little picky.
Yeah.
So,
she'll kind of follow him up.
And Charles, emerging from the garage are an old knocker and Misha.
Misha, what a surprise to see you here.
Hi, Charles. How are you?
Oh, I'm breathing just fine, thank you.
Is he wearing the outfit all that stuff still?
No.
Okay. Most of the time never mind. I'm not going to go into this. I'm glad you're breathing.
From
Yeah,
the corner, Dixie's like, I got him to try it out, Maurice. Maurice just shakes his head.
My apologies. I probably should have greeted you first, since you're the owner of this establishment. Maurice, you can call me Charles. He takes out and he stretches out his hand.
And you can continue calling me Maurice, he says. He reaches out a calloused hand and shakes Charles's less calloused hand.
Far less calloused hand. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt anything between you and Misha. I'm sure whatever discussion you had was of some importance. I can wait if you wish to continue it.
Oddly enough, you might have appreciated that conversation. It wasn't anything official, though.
Maurice just kind of gives a weird look. Why would he have appreciated that conversation?
So he says that?
Yeah. This is kind of a weird thing to say about a conversation where they were discussing the jewelry of the dead.
Fair enough. She'll just kind of look to him and just say, he was a friend of Maxine's too.
Ah.
It seems a certain redcap that has a taste for terrible things had a taste for a lot of other things on other people. Because she doesn't want to have to explain this to Dixie.
Dixie is an adult. She's just a short one.
Oh, she understands that, and it's clear that Misha's trying to be vague, which Dixie can totally catch. That's fine, but
she means blood. Anyway, thank you, Anya.
Yeah, she also knows what a redcap eats, or what a redcap can't eat. So you can take from whatever you want, but she's just trying not to be overly specific at this point, because you know what, that subject was a downer.
Yes, I could imagine that her appetites weren't very specific,
or a little too specific.
I hear she's dead, so good riddance.
Oh. Is she?
He looks at Misha.
That's what I've heard. I'm pitying Charles.
I'm an ip subbing.
Seems legit.
Seems legit.
I got 0, so unless you botch, you win.
1 success, so that's enough to keep his fucking composure.
Well, basically, I see what you want me to see, which is
just like, just a measure of just blank.
That's fine.
Hard to read.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, sometimes you don't necessarily want to read him. She'll just kind of nod, I guess, and be like, if you guys have other business, I can go. I've done what I need to do.
I mean, you can stick around if you want, but I've got to deal with... What was it you said your name was again?
Charles.
Charles.
Unless you see him in court.
Yes, but I don't believe this is official business, so unless we really want to be dropping names here and there, just Charles is fine for now.
Ah, one of the courtly types, all right.
I mean, look at his ears.
From what I hear, some of them are dropping the whole shebang.
I've only heard of one so far. Have you heard of more?
Nah, I don't really listen all that much about them. No offense, Charles.
None taken.
It's just you guys do your thing and I do mine, and rarely the twain meet unless I'm being asked to do something specific.
The twain. Oh. He just sort of perks up with that. I think we're going to get along quite nicely.
Weirdest look. Weird.
Well, I honestly don't mind if Misha wants to stick around with the conversation. I wasn't intending this visit to be anything official, but if it does turn to council talks, it wouldn't be too bad if there were two of the members of the council here, but that's up to you.
Well, if it does turn to council talks, then we expect our titles as much as you get yours. And she gives him what is probably the worst sweet grin ever.
Maurice literally looks exhausted by this conversation. He did not want to be on the council. He wanted Dixie to be on the council. He only ran to be a good example for her, and you guys were like, "Oh, we want the old guy."
I didn't.
Young person.
No. I picked Dixie. You know, I voted for Dixie.
I do. I know.
Well, if it comes to that, then I'll introduce myself with my other name. But for now, we're just going to keep it friendly. Nice and Charles, get to know one another, since we are neighbors.
The good neighbors, from what I hear.
Aren't we all?
The best of fucking neighbors. The best of fucking neighbors.
As these two are having their dick measuring contest, Maurice rolls his eyes and goes to the back of the counter to fix something Dixie is working on. No, look. If you put the gears this way, it's gonna crank backwards, and then you're gonna end up with a broken. Yeah.
Gee, there's no history over here at all. Nope.
What? No.
He does not care.
Misha just kind of looks at him and
the amount of fucks is 0.
She just watches him and just starts grinning because this is Maurice. This is the best. Not quite as good as Bill Freedom, but still great.
This is the same old knocker who, when William's like, well, I guess I'm going to fuck off, and then talked for 3 more sentences. He's like, go ahead and fuck off now. So, yeah. Yes. Cantankerous, grouchy, grump Maurice does not care that those two have history.
But he sure caught it.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure the deaf and blind could catch it at this point.
Oh, they're not discreet.
No.
The best part is that this is so much better than it was before.
Oh yeah, no, it's almost kind of fun.
Anyway, yeah, we're done with the good neighbors conversation now, I think, unless there's some other weird ass comment to make.
No, not that I can think of off the top of my head. Nothing. Well, Misha, it was lovely running into you again. I hope we'll meet again on better circumstances and hopefully a better conversation.
Misha, when you see William, send him my way. I have a shield for him, so next time he gets stabbed less.
Amen to that.
Put his coat of arms on it and everything.
Oh, he has a coat of arms now?
Well, it's what I do.
It is what you do. I just didn't know that he did. Look at him being all fancy.
He's a good kid.
We have different points of view of what good is, Maurice.
He just kind of gives Misha a look of I have nothing to contribute to that weird, enigmatic statement, youngling. This was a notice to pick up something, not a philosophy discussion. All of this reads on this old withered face.
She'll get that slightly abashed look like a kid would get, and just be like, I'll let him know.
Thank you. You have a good one. Don't let anyone mess with you.
You got it. And yeah, she will start to walk out of the door.
And Maurice will turn to Charles from behind the counter. Now, what can I help you with?
Well, I figure, well, it's nothing official. I wasn't sure where the conversation was going to go. I was mostly going to introduce myself, see where things happen, but you caught my interest when you mentioned coat of arms.
Yeah, everybody's got a hobby, you know?
Huh. The question is, how consuming is that hobby? Is that a hobby that is something you do just in the pastime, or is it your burning, consuming thing that drives you forward? That flame that Prometheus stole for you.
It's what I do. I take it seriously. And I'm not going to put a bunch of flowery bullshit on something just because it looks pretty.
Ah, of course not. It's all about the symbology.
Yes, words and pictures, they mean shit.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly, they do. And sometimes maybe it's not quite so direct, but that's the beauty of it. It's all entrenched in the culture.
Well, I mean, heraldry tends to be most strongly represented in the European countries, so I suppose there's different forms of like iconodry. What's the fucking word? Carol can't remember. Iconography?
Iconography, yeah.
Fucking A. Different iconography throughout the various countries of the world, be it hieroglyphics or whatever. But I tend to stick with the more European standard for coats of arms.
Well, if things are to be believed, especially in this world, most of our origins come from the more European side of things anyway.
Well, at least those of us that are still, you know, popular enough to be counted, I suppose.
Hmm. Well, I'm curious then. I saw was it your handiwork that did the, I don't want to assume, but was it your handiwork for the freehold of the free hair then?
It was. The girl and I kind of got into it, actually.
Oh.
She wanted a hair for your friend that passed away.
She would have hated that.
Would she?
Well, especially the way she went. Not really a good old retirement or a peaceful ending, I would say.
Ah. So you understand why I didn't put it on the damn banner.
Mm.
But that was my argument. There was some hefty discussion of what symbols should go there. Rose didn't seem appropriate either, unless they were mistaken and your friend was a very passionate individual.
I wouldn't say she wasn't passionate, but a rose I don't think suited her.
So yeah, we were. I created a flagpole for them, and the hairs on either side keep it off the banner, and it doesn't bug me so much.
Yes, indeed. At the very least, they get their hair, but not so much as muddying the message.
Yes, I wanted to keep it simple and correct.
Well, now I'm curious because Actually, it makes me interested in possibly. Well, this is unfortunate. This was not something I was prepared for, but perhaps I could commission you for one.
Yeah, and who the hell are you?
Well, I guess Well, I guess we could discuss. I think we could have that nice discussion then. Um, he does take a look up front. This isn't going to be a conversation that those whose ears aren't meant to hear are going to walk in. Correct? He's implying dreamers. And
I mean, this generally isn't a walk-in kind of garage. But if you'd like, we can go to the back.
whatever you feel most comfortable with. I'll take your word that no one's just going to walk in.
Just as well. There's chairs in my office in the back. Dixie, can you watch the damn shop? She'll give him like the middle finger as he rolls his eyes and leads Charles to his office. In his office are various like designs in progress. You have seen them because I've shared them with you.
Yeah.
But yes.
So he's observing a few things here and there, and he's like, "Oh, someone had a great triumph recently." As he's looking at the dragon.
I'm trying to remember which one has a dragon on it.
That's Williams.
Okay, I've drawn a lot of these things. Cut me some slack.
Yeah, it's the 7-headed dragon, or the Hydra, I should say.
Yeah. I mean, he did manage to achieve what he aimed for here in Brooklyn.
Excuse me. And he sort of can't help but laugh as he sees like some of the seals along with the thistle. Now that's appropriate.
I mean, she knows who she is.
Now, Chimera are a bit on the nose for Puka in general, wouldn't you say?
Do you think of something more appropriate before you criticize my work?
Oh no. I just I don't want to assume that that'll be general for every Puka that comes across the way. This one must be a particularly quizzical puzzle box.
This one was commissioned for her by the Baron, one of the barons up there in the county freehold, actually.
Ah.
Can't say I really know her too well, besides the fact that we actually serve on the council together.
I see. So a nice little gift to be given. Well, I'm sure she'll appreciate it one way or the other. Well, I guess then, let's talk about what would go with mine.
Again, I hate to be repetitive here, but who the hell are you?
Well, let's go with the real name then. I am Kararis, keeper of the diamond word. That may be just a title, of course, just one little aspect of who and what I am. But let's have a conversation. Let's evolve. Let's see where we want to go. What do you want to know about who I am?
Have you accomplished anything noteworthy?
And he thinks for a moment, and he shakes his head every moment, and he goes, I was going to bring up memories of the other place, but I'm not there anymore. Well, accomplishments on my new shield, this new heraldry of mine, need to be about what's here. Save for maybe one thing. Did you know about the the Oathbreaker, formerly known as Sir Carol?
Like I said, that nary the twain. I very I generally stay out of the business of oath breakers and sirs.
Well, it was a little. Well, sadly, I would have to say that I never had the luxury of not having to intermingle, since he was my lord when I was his squire.
Awesome. He seemed kind of non-committal saying that.
Yeah. Of course. Now, we had talked about my friend. And he says that word with a lot more seriousness. My friend Misha. No, not Misha. Maxine. Sorry, my brain's. Anyway, talked to him a little bit about that. I'm afraid there was a bit of an agreement between herself, myself, and Sir Carol. Well, I was the intermediary, so to speak, of that agreement, officially sanctioned by the Sir himself. And then he seemed to take a very severe amount of paranoia. Took a great amount of pleasure in my abuse. Actually, I think he was more afraid of me than anything else. Seems strange. I was sworn to him, bound to keep him, serve him well. And yet, apparently, that wasn't good enough for him. Oh. You'd think if you were part of a certain agreement that you'd be informed about it, kept up to date, especially since you were integral to it. But no. Carol did everything he could to make sure I was ostracized from his presence not so long afterwards. I'll never really know why. But he went through everything he could to make sure life for myself and Maxine was hell. And then just decided that since he had all the power, since he believed he had all the power of the agreement anyway, just decided to give it up. No, not give it up. That's the wrong words. Decided to just transfer the bargain to someone else. Because that's how it works, isn't it?
I've never seen it work that way.
Of course not, because that's not how it works. But apparently Carol thought it did. Regardless, that was one of his first steps. Oh no, he'd already broken his promise of protection over me by striking me for no just reason.
Seems a little strange somebody be laying hands on you. He says, looking at your menacing mane or whatever, murderous mane.
Indeed. Well, like I said, Carol seemed to... He said, I'm not sure. He seemed to think that he was in control of everything, and I guess I threatened him. Somehow.
Did you threaten him with words?
Not at first, no. But I certainly shattered him with them.
Reese kind of gives like a sus sort of eyebrow raise. Like, so what is this? Like some sort of shakedown? Did I not pay taxes or something?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that I was shaking you down. That's the furthest thing from the truth. Besides, you're not even in Manhattan, and Brooklyn's a free state. Why would I demand taxes from you?
I never really understand why any of the nobility do what they do. I keep my head down and until recently out of politics. He seems incredibly irritated that recently has delved into politics for him.
I'm going to perception psychology him about that.
Okay.
I've got a little bit of an insight onto that guy. Get that. Oh, of course it's not going to roll right now.
You can use the Onyx dice roller and send me a screenshot if you want.
Yep. Will do. Let me grab it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grab the thing.
That's what she said.
Okay. Let's bring this up. I'm going to screenshot it, but it's 6 successes.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
When he talks about not stepping into politics until recently, you can pick up that he is not particularly enthusiastic about that responsibility. He has this sort of like, I'm getting too old for this shit kind of Murtaugh tone to him. He is and it's easy enough to understand. He is a very old grump. He's not one of those people who hit grumpdom early in their late 20s. No, he's pushing 60. So yeah, he would rather not be playing Johnny Politics at this late point in his life. But he's not going to do a piss poor job of it. Yeah.
Did you feel obligated to step in?
I wanted the girl up front, Dixie. I wanted her to run. It's our responsibility when we have the energy. When we have the energy, he yells at the door. There's no response to his loudness. To serve the city that you live in. So I told her to run. She wouldn't run unless I ran. I suppose I assumed they would know to vote for the person with like youthful energy instead of an old fucker with a foot in the grave. But be that as it may, here I am. And I'll be damned if I'm going to do a shitty job just because I didn't expect to be here.
Wow. I'm grateful to see that regardless of the outcome, you're going to take it seriously.
Wow. Only fuckers would put themselves in a position of authority without the intent of serving the people that are under them.
Yes, I can think of several.
Fuckers?
Of the exact type that you described. They're either going to be put on trial or they're being an eternal monument right now.
I have no idea what that means.
Well, Isidore is going to be on trial, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm talking about the internal monument.
Oh, yes. Sir Carol's fate. I should probably get back to that trail of thought. He says that he goes back to it. So, Sir Carol, after having broken his oaths of vassalage upon myself, and having broken the contract between myself and Maxine, I guess the young Baron's wisdom was to try and make Carol stop this nonsense, and try to at least have some measure and apology. So he came to my home, requested my hospitality, and decided what I was presenting him wasn't good enough. Didn't even thank me. After all,
Okay, go ahead.
No. After all, I gave him the food on my table. I gave him the comforts and companionship of my home. And he decides to spit in my face one more time.
Did he actually spit in your face?
That was metaphor. But he might as well have. He might as well have the moment he struck me. You know, despite my composition, ears tend to be a very fragile thing. One good hard cuff.
Wait, he cuffed your ear?
Like a spoiled brat.
Why didn't you just lay him out on the floor there?
Because I took my oaths quite seriously. And, we were at a funeral. I wasn't going to discredit Iona's memory. He, at the very least, made himself the piss poor, ill-mannered individual. I rose above it for that moment. But that didn't mean I forgot. And it doesn't mean I forgave. And that moment came when he finally broke one too many promises, one too many rules, thinking himself above them. His word was as fragile as glass. So I shattered him and made him as eternal as diamond. He still stands up front of the Manhattan Freehold, the barony, as an eternal reminder of what happens to oathbreakers.
That's kind of fucked up.
Probably. I'm sure most people would say, but I think it gets a message across.
Is that message, don't go to your house?
I was hoping it would be that people should value their words, value their promises, value what they say, and they entrench themselves in with their values. Words aren't like light things. They mean things. They're powerful. I shattered him with words. He stands there because of words. Words that he broke and words that I spoke.
Are you trying to drive at one of the symbols? Because I don't have the
No.
list of what they mean at the next to me.
No worries. He's just telling the story, but there are several symbols. So he can probably go off on this one. So I would say I triumphed over a bit of adversity, wouldn't you say? To a degree.
Well, you had a knight that was striking you like a child when you're both grown-ass men. So, some degree of adversity, yeah.
But not a dragon. That's not what I'm thinking. I also have done what I could to, well, my intention at the very least, I'm working towards that, is trying to build, trying to protect, and trying to give a, build Manhattan back from its current predicament. I would say that I waited how long before I finally had my moment with Carol? 6 months? Yes. I think a sanguine chevron might be appropriate. My ascension to knighthood came not too long after Carol's shattering.
You got a promotion for shattering a knight?
Ironic, isn't it?
A little surprising. Figured, maybe the young Baron would try to make an example out of both of you, but shit if I understand kids these days. He starts sketching on a piece of paper as you talk.
Let's go back to words for a moment. There's a few things I have in mind, a few ideas. See, I believe that words, communication, language is what separates us from... No, not just separates us, elevates us. All of us. We're able to communicate, you and I, despite differencing backgrounds, despite differencing interests. We're communicating, we're having a conversation. We have an understanding, even if it might be a bit confusing for one party or the other, but at the very least, we have an understanding, would you say?
I mean, I'm having a hard time following you sometimes, but yeah, I can... language is important.
Language is what created civilization. Language built up communities, built up nations. Language elevates us higher and higher. Words and language. I'm thinking either gold or yellow for the background. Not necessarily because of the generosity aspect, but because it's an elevation of the mind, elevation of self.
Very zen.
Zen. I think that's a completely different subject matter, but...
elevation, balance, it's all... Yeah, continue on.
Sort of pauses for a moment at the idea of balance, but continues on. But I am the keeper of the diamond word.
So, like a guardianship?
Yes, that would be a good way to put it. Yes, a keeper, so to speak. Guardianship.
Keys.
Keys. Yes, keys. Keys would be perfect. Keys. Yes. You know, it would be appropriate actually to put a diamond on there. Aside from the fact that it's is the diamond word, it is sign of supremacy, elevation, of an ultimate thing. The diamond word is the ultimate. Every facet is just a little, every word, every language, everything has sprouted from it. But everyone gets to see a different side of the facet, just sees it a little slightly distorted and takes it to their own, and it evolves beautifully.
He's continuing his doodle. All right, so a diamond, keys, a chevron on yellow.
There's a few. It doesn't feel full, though. There should be more. Next scene.
I'm not putting a damn rabbit on your shield. Unless you're planning on retiring tomorrow.
I am not going to ask you to put a rabbit on the shield. No, I want something else.
Oh? What do you want?
She was my friend. My first friend. The first friend. I didn't even know what that meant until after.
Sorry for your loss.
I want something that represents that friendship. I want something that reminds me that I will always be, even if I didn't know it at that time, was and will always be her friend. And what that means now that I know what it means. Think.
Well, there's some flowers and some plants that represent friendship. He points to his hair, ivy, geraniums, that kind of stuff.
I think ivy would be a good one, but no, it can't just be a binding friendship. No, it should be more. It should be. It's elevated to something more. I'm trying to remember what the name of the fucking flower was.
Geranium.
It was geranium. It was the geranium. It's like, a geranium. Ivy and geranium. And a geranium. I would go. Oh, there is one thing on the ivy. If you wouldn't mind putting thorns on them. I know it means irritation. But I come from a very, let's just say before I got here, people were wanting to make sure I didn't exist anymore. I want to be that little thorn in their side, reminding them that I'm still here.
He takes a quick glance over at like Misha's thistle. All right, thorns. Everybody wants to be prickly these days.
Well, that's the thing with heraldry. It's not just always a reflection of just who you are, but what you hope to achieve, what you hope to be. The more disingenuous ones tend to put what they want others to see them as. Oh, there should be an ordinary, shouldn't there?
Is that what those damn things are called? The
heraldic lines or the ordinaries. That's okay. What the
yeah, okay.
You know, I keep my home and hearth very seriously. It's just as I kept my castle.
So he starts drawing the little like boxy shape of the wall or fortress on his doodle. Like
Yes. The embattled, yes.
I cannot remember for the life of me what those damn diamonds are called.
I'm just about to bring them up. Give me a moment. They're called a maskel.
Okay.
Jarl sort of thinks for a moment. He goes, trying to think. I feel like there's something else.
How'd you and the hare become friends?
Well, she just walked in to my office one day and said we were biffles.
That's ridiculous.
That's what happened. And I went along with it because, you know what, at that time it seemed like a good joke. And then it became this sort of thing of who was going to crack first. And then it just kept going until it stopped being a joke. And I didn't realize it stopped being a joke for a long while after. There's a certain persuasiveness there. Just the way it just sort of crept up on you. One way or another, we affected each other. And I've gotten through a lot of things being very persuasive, pervasive. Maskels. I think there should be some maskels on there.
He starts drawing them in. He grabs like a black marker and colors them in.
That's perfect. For both reasons. For the constancy of my essence and being, and for the grief of what I had lost. There we are.
Says a lot of things, even though it looks simple.
That it does. So, Maurice, do you know who I am?
I think I'm getting a better idea.
Well, I hope maybe one day we'll get a chance that maybe we'll both get to know each other just a bit better. Now, I'm not going to ask you to do that for free. There's got to be some compensation, of course, for this. But I'm not sure what you're interested in. So let me take a moment to get to know you.
I had two friends that were at the wedding. I didn't go because I had to work. Both of them died. And aside from my apprentice up there, I figured I was going to be all alone after that. Then this place started flooding in with all sorts of people who had also lost. put a very, very strange point of view in my line of sight. I'm not gonna say it breathed new life into me because that's a load of horse shit. But I will say it's given me the urge to make use of what little time I probably have left. And if they're gonna ask for me to serve on some fucking council instead of my apprentice, who's frankly got enough energy for it, then I'll stand by and let them use me as they need me to be used. Even if that's telling them that they're fucking idiots for whatever the hell they've got their mind set on. Have you met the other council members?
I've met all of them, actually.
Not a shred of hesitation in the lot of them.
Not an iota. Not an iota of patience.
So, yeah, some whimsical thing will be brought up, and they'll start immediately like, yes, this is the greatest thing ever since ever, and fail to bring it up to our fair governor person. Or think of how things could backfire.
Yes. Not long game viewers. It's an immediacy, a need of the moment. No long view.
They're good kids, though. In spite of whatever weird philosophical thing the girl was trying to start with me on her way out. I think William's heart's in the right place. Even if his execution can be a little brash and swinging.
Yes. I see very mixed opinions on William. I see so much potential, so much things he could be, and yet, in a moment of what he could be and his greatest potential, he dashes it on the rocks.
He's a young one. He kind of squints at Charles. You're young too. Mistakes will be made. We can either obsess over them or grow from them. But the thing is, when you're young, you have to have that opportunity to scar up and choose another path, one that won't burn you as bad as the one before. And I don't think that kid's had a lot of chances to determine his own path, even if he thinks he does. And by all accounts and conversation, he certainly does. But he feels a sense of obligation. He's just... I feel tired for him. That's what I see a lot of now. If you want to know who I am, I'm the guy who sees a bunch of young people who've been facing death and failure of leadership.
You know, despite the fact of what you said, that perhaps your apprentice there might have fit a bit more with the energy of the rest of that council. I think unbeknownst to them, or maybe they did know exactly what they were doing, but I think they're going to need you. Temper that fire just a little bit, give it a little bit more direction and clarity. As you said, we're young.
I give him a kick in the ass is what I'm going to do.
I hope not literally, but...
Nah, they'd probably be a little upset by that.
but at least give him a direction.
I worry that with all this council stuff, the kid's not going to get all the guidance she needs. She's fairly new, so take it upon myself to show her the way we do the things we do. Don't need her blowing up half of New York as she tries to figure shit out.
Yes, a little trigger happy. He says as he sort of stares in like the direction of where the wings were.
She's got a flair for the dramatic. But we gotta be free to pursue the things that interest us. Where would we be if everybody was only into heraldry?
Oh, that'd be a boring conversation.
It'd be like screaming into an echoey canyon.
Although speaking to someone with the same interests isn't a bad thing. But what's important is the viewpoint. All different facets on the same diamond. All just as valid, all beautiful and shining. But the conversation needs to evolve. They need to go to different things, different places. That's why it's all beautiful. Those intimate moments, the screaming matches, those cries of unity. Because they're all beautiful. They're all unique little shards, but all part of the same thing.
Yeah, that's a little weird. So as far as this coat of arms goes, you seem he says this kind of like it isn't with disgust, but with this sort of like unspoken, too fancy for me, as he says, neighborly.
Yeah.
So we can either do this, you owe me a favor, or dross, I suppose.
Well, if we're going to be neighborly, I figure we might want to make it something that's of interest to you. Obviously, this is a shield is a mutual interest of ours. Perhaps we can work out an agreement that's of a mutual interest.
He just kind of like pauses and thinks. I'm a simple man. I just worry about the younger ones. That's my interest these days, besides the heraldry. And unless you're going to make me a new coat of arms, he says, expecting Charles to be like, nope.
Charles sort of laughs and shakes his head sadly. I could write up a wonderful description for you, but I'm afraid that designing them is not my thing.
Great, it keeps me gainfully not employed, but it pays for the hobby. I don't know. Do something for the young ones. Make it nice. Don't be all clandestine about it.
Something nice for the young ones.
And I don't mean nice as in that like accurate and precise nonsense. I mean nice, like kind. He's a not mythology kind, please. None of this dancing is nice, so let's do it for 1,000 years for shit.
Still working on that kind. But I'll do what I can. Something nice.
Just try bringing them like a box of donuts or something. Just don't. He puts his hands out like, don't be weird, Charles.
I'll do my best. And you have my word on that.
He seems a little like concerned, not suspect. He believes that you mean that. Just concerned because your word is apparently a lot.
Yeah. I brought them donuts, Maurice. You drowned them in donuts.
The nice, you freak.
The council has a bunch of donuts, right? Where these donuts come from? Everyone has them except Maurice, you son of a bitch.
Oh,
said
Lord.
For the young ones, and you're not young, I know, but you goddamn asshole. Anyway. I'll think on it, but I will do something for them.
Do you want this just as like a painted up banner, or do you need like an actual like embroidered banner on a staff? You know, that tournament appropriate sort of thing.
I'll probably need at least one of both. Something to hang and something to present.
All right, it should be ready to go in a week and a half.
All right. Thank you, Maurice. Hope if we meet again, it'll be for a more intriguing conversation. Not that this wasn't intriguing, but now that we've got at least a basis of knowing who we one another are, perhaps the conversation will evolve more naturally.
Sure thing. Feel free to come on by whenever you want to discuss heraldry or, I suppose, the state of Brooklyn.
Yes, that'll probably be a conversation. Well, Maurice, thank you and have a good day.
Take care of yourself.
And Charles makes his way out.
Dixie is up front, still not paying attention to the people meandering in and out. Well, the people being Charles, because this is a classic car repair shop, not some like drive-in oil change place.
Gotcha. Dixie, have a good day. Good luck with your wings.
Thanks a bunch, and thanks for letting me try them out on you.
He just sort of smiles almost painfully before he makes his way out.
And she, without even looking up, she just kind of waves at him. And Sam has a bakery not too far from Calypso's Grotto, actually, like a block away.
So yeah, Charles makes his way along that way, and he pauses as he looks into Calypso's Grotto, and he hears the door open. I actually don't want to make any descriptions of that because it's her place, so I don't want to assume that the jingle is still going, but but he makes his way as he just smiles, sort of satisfied with himself at a job well done, keeping a testament to his work of keeping his word. But he makes his way to the bakery to finally meet the governor.
So Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
This bakery is called the Sweet Spot. On the side is glittery graffiti. And it says, "No king above me," or no slave below me. Alas.
And Charles pauses at that as he's staring at the quote. And he's actually probably lost in that for a long, probably a little bit of a longer moment. To most people, he's probably just staring at a fucking blank wall.
He is, as a matter of fact, staring at a blank wall to anybody just passing by. Like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
Yeah. But he finally snaps out of it. And turns and makes his way through the door.
Behind the counter is this individual, Sam. They're busily taking orders and chatting with the patrons. Always a smile, always a thank you. The Sweet Spot specializes in like very small desserts. So there's no like large cakes or pies here. It's all like macaroons and cupcakes and cookies. But yes, the proprietor is Sam, and kind of bumbling, sort of taking orders is the former Baroness that was Isidore's, what's her, like, not wife, but
Mistress?
Dame
No.
something, Dame whatever, Margaret, I guess.
Okay.
Anyways, she's struggling as an employee for the login. But yes, that is the strange sight that Charles will see upon entering the governor's bakery.
He just sort of blinks those stained glass windows eyes for a moment before he just puts on his pleasant smile, and he makes his way over to the counter, and he's like eyeing the cupcakes and the macaroons.
Sam will walk up to him. Is there something I can help you with?
Yes. I'm looking for Sam.
Oh, well, you've met them.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Charles.
Sam will stick a hand out to shake with a smile.
And Charles does so and likewise smiles with those diamond fangs of his.
Sam kind of not cringes, but sort of like
yeah. But he shakes it anyway.
And a real bright smile there, friend.
Dazzling, I've been told.
So what can I do for you? We got macaroons. We've got cupcakes. She points to like a small like shelf in the back. We have brownies. And cookies as well. I just came up with some pear cinnamon ginger snaps. If you'd be interested in those, they're fresh out of the oven. Other than that, what you see is what we've got.
Well, I think I wouldn't mind taking one of everything.
Ooh, big spender. All right. You want those in a to-go box, or do you just want me to throw everything on a couple of plates?
To-go box. I'm probably not going to eat everything here, though you never know. The day is still young.
All right. And Sam will like start constructing some of those like pink boxes that pastries are put in.
Although, I am a little surprised you'd still go for brownies. I think that would have left a bad taste.
It's the dame's contribution. She wants to make herself useful. She knows how to cook. Nothing else. She's trying. I don't really like brownies. It's kind of a slur for like Sam does a gesture of like Sam's boggenness.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm not a big fan myself, but it's better than her messing with my other recipes.
Well, they'll have to branch out eventually.
I'm hoping eventually she'll branch right on out of here and into a new line of work.
Not going that well, is it?
She asked for help. Who was I to tell her no?
Well, it's a big responsibility. I'm sure a lot of people are asking for your help these days.
Yeah. It's I'm operating on a lot less hours of sleep these days. But it's for a good cause and it's for something I believe in.
I just got done talking with Maurice. He's tired too, but from what I understand, he's at least willing to put in the hours as well.
Yeah, Maurice is good people. The old guy. He's a little cantankerous, but you know, he never says no to a cupcake.
I'll keep that in mind.
And Sam starts like filling these boxes with like one of each thing. It's just a much smaller box that Sam fills with like different macaroons. Because they have a special box.
Yes. Well, we'll say that I don't want to interrupt you while you're working, especially since you've got he sort of looks over at the way your help might need a little more of a hands-on approach, at least for the time being. But I hope maybe in the near future we might be able to set up a meeting for a more well, a chat that can be a little more free form, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I can pencil you in for an appointment if you have something you need to discuss about Brooklyn.
Oh, I wouldn't mind talking about Brooklyn, but really, I'm just trying to get a good get to know my neighbors. After all, relations haven't been all that great recently, and I'm hoping to mend some bridges.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. You said it right. Did you? Oh,
It's Charles.
Charles, right? Well, I mean, if you want to have a real quick conversation, we can go to my office and one of my other employees. And Sam points to a couple of like mortals.
Mm-hmm.
Since they don't have fey names, they're not so glaringly obvious.
Well, if you feel you have the time, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sure. Denise, can you take over for a moment? I need to discuss a catering order with this individual here. Denise nods. And Sam will lead to Sam's office.
Oh, so you do catering. Hey, Charles's mind is already worrying on that for a moment.
Not really. I mean, mostly like the occasional kid's birthday party, but I mean...
Well, don't worry. I'm not planning on throwing a flamingo gala or anything along those lines with...
Oh, no. And Sam just shakes their head. No, we very rarely do we take a catering job. It's just I am busy enough here, and sending half of my staff off to some party for some people with more money than sense. It's just they can pick up the cakes, you know, the little
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But even then, even if they are picking up the cakes themselves, it's still a rather large amount, depending on the orders. That's still a lot of work.
Yes, but as long as my employees are here, I can keep track of things, and if they stay the hell out of my kitchen, I can cook really fast.
Yep, putting those good talents to use.
We do what we can, right?
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So, I will say I'm not really here on any official business or anything along those lines, as far as most things are concerned. But in the interest of keeping being good neighbors between Brooklyn and Manhattan, I figure I might as well introduce myself and make my presence known.
Great, nice to meet you.
Mm.
Sam, Kephart.
Sam, Charles. Though, of course, if it becomes an official business matter, in more official matters, it will be Carraris.
Ah, official.
Mm. We're very, like I said, I don't intend this to be an official matter, so it's Charles.
How does
What?
your the officialness ring out in Manhattan?
I'm working on changing that. See, I'm afraid as much as well, Brooklyn, of course, is still in a very young state, as I'm no doubt you're aware of. Lots of things need to ring out.
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan has gone through quite a bit of tribulations itself. And I don't think it's any secret that there's a large of opinion from others that some measure of incompetence, or at least that some people should have at least stayed at a wedding, regardless if it was their right to leave it or not.
Oh gosh, I mean, they're just kids. They couldn't have known.
Of course not. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it's not their right. It was their wedding. They should have fun. They shouldn't have to worry about that. They shouldn't have to expect that a tragedy like that was going to happen. But I'm afraid it doesn't really matter when it doesn't matter all that much when you have the majority of people following that opinion. Unfortunately, it's what the majority says.
See, this is where you and I may disagree on things, Charles. See, the majority says, for instance, that things exist in a binary, right or wrong, black and white, yes or no, male or female. I like to think that there are some in-between places, and the majority can. I mean, I understand my position as an elected official. I do need to listen to the majority when it comes to what they want for this governing. But at the same time, just because they say something doesn't mean it's true. It's just saying what they want. So they can say they should have stayed. What they mean is they wanted them to stay. They wanted them to suffer alongside them. It doesn't mean that they should have. The numbers don't make it right. The numbers just make it legal.
Yes. That is very true. But then again, you have this sweep of consciousness along the way. I don't disagree, actually, on the fact that there can't be things of in-between spaces. After all, despite the flesh I wear, I myself am quite in between.
So people want to lob these definitions, but who the hell are they to define you? If somebody, you say you're in between, but if enough people call you sir or guy or dude, does that change what you are?
Personally, I don't think so. I think you're the person who defines who you are.
All right. So, unless somebody wants to go about convincing those poor kids that they were in the wrong, then it's really not fact. It's just popular opinion.
Yes, but popular opinion, if stoked too much, can overthrow a barony.
That's why I'm here.
And I think we can both agree they're kids. Granted, they're kids put into a position of power, and they have to understand that, unfortunately, being in such a position, there are consequences. And they're going to be held at a higher responsibility, even if it's not something that they just necessarily deserve.
Yeah, unfortunately, too many the older ones tend to throw a lot of the pomp and circumstance without all the responsibility, which is not great for the ones coming in.
That is true. Regardless, I'm trying to... Excuse me. Regardless, I'm trying to change that opinion that the majority seems to hold. And I'm also trying to make sure that even though they are young, to put them on the right path to being better. And hopefully, if I can make some motions, I don't want to say that they shouldn't do any work. Oh no, we can't. I am not going to allow them to just sit idly by and do nothing. But I do want them to have at least a little bit of a moment to enjoy their youth a little bit longer before it has to come crashing down.
Well, I'm sure they'll appreciate the help.
So, in some respects, that's why I reach out. I want to try and put a better foot forward for Manhattan. Better than it's been seen for the past almost a year now.
And what's my little governing? How's that come into play?
Well,
to swear fealty to Sebastian, because I'm pretty sure there's somebody big, tall, and slate blue that would take offense to that notion.
Oh, I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would a great deal. Of course, if that's what you and the people voted, unfortunately, that's what the say is. But that's not what I had in mind in the slightest. After all, you got your word. You won. You've won your freedom. You've got your democracy. Why would I try to push a after all you've achieved? After all you've achieved, and after all the aid you received that was received to the freehold from here from my house, I don't see a reason why I would come in demanding things. Now, I'm not going to say that others might not. I'm not them. Mostly, I just wanted to take the opportunity to get to chat, get to know, build good relations. And maybe in the future, if we need something from one another, maybe at least with this nice start of a foundation between us, we can build from there.
Well, we are young, so we could use some support. And, well, your leaders are young, so I'm sure they could use some support.
And, Sebastian and Manhattan was one of the, was actually, I think, the only of the nobility to openly support the downfall of Isidore.
Ugh, good riddance to that creep.
Yes, good riddance. And to that embarrassment. At best.
You're not a fan of flamingos. I hear when they emptied out his freehold, they found one of those plastic ones, like in a glass case.
Really?
Yeah, real weird guy. I don't get him, but I don't have to.
That's strange. You know, I heard a rumor that he had actually that there was actually almost a bloodbath actually in the freehold over a plastic flamingo. You don't think it was the same one?
I mean, I didn't hear about any other plastic flamingos. I have my ear tuned into the appropriate grapevine.
Through the grapevine.
Big California Raisins fan there.
Mostly mostly any music that keeps my way fan. Although I'm still a little confused by I think, what is it, Eurobeat?
Huh. There was a band up in Prospect Park not too long ago. They were, what were they? Neo-punk glam rock? That was a fun mix. Of course, Prospect Park's a big mess right now, but
yeah, it's the homeless situation, I think.
Yeah, I suspect it's only a matter of time before that issue slides in front of my desk.
Well, I don't want to go around offering aid before it's needed. After all, I think it would be good for Brooklyn to make sure it has at least some allies. But I think it's also important that Brooklyn at least prove that it can handle certain things on its own. What I'm saying is that if you need the help, ask. But at the same time, the world's watching. You want this? It's going to be a very delicate time for Brooklyn.
Much the same could be said for Manhattan.
My hope is to try and tip that, but only time will tell how that will go.
Well, if you hear any gossip about the youngness of Brooklyn being part of its detriment, please let me know so I can set the gossip straight.
I will feed that information to you. And if you feel, and likewise, if you hear anything about the slights or failings of Manhattan, please send them my way, so I can see if I can't rectify it.
Of course. Mutual ears to the ground.
Seems like a deal. Well, Sam, I think I've taken enough of your time from your store for the time being. Perhaps we'll take a penciled-in appointment date in the future. Have a more in-depth conversation while you're not while your staff's not waiting on customers.
Yeah, I better get up there before the dame gets fussy. Somebody didn't give her a yes ma'am one day, and all havoc broke loose.
See, that's See, that's the reason.
I blame House Ileal personally. All that secrecy and it wears on a person's sanity.
Hmm. Hmm.
Being open and honest and forthright will do you a lot more good in the long run.
Hmm. Yes, it's such a shame how much House Ileal has turned to its current state. Dragons.
Wiggy.
They're supposed to be dragons. He says as he sort of mutters under his breath.
Sam just gives like a raised eyebrow. Way too much of a vested interest in Ileal, but they don't say anything about it.
Hmm. Anywho, Sam, thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Don't forget to grab your pastries on the way out.
And don't forget to charge me.
Oh, trust me, I would never forget.
Good. What do I owe you? as the exchange goes by.
Yeah, it's probably going to be over 100.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, one of everything. And macaroons tend to be expensive fucking things. So, I don't know, like 150 or some ridiculous amount of money. Yeah, you'll be laden with like 3 large boxes and a small container of macaroons, a variety pack of macaroons. And then what, to Queens?
Yep, to Queens.
All right.
With macaroons to boot.
Macaroons, cupcakes, cookies, some of which are warm from the oven, and probably like a paper bag of like brownies. Everything else is in a nice pink box, like in little paper wrappers, and then a fucking white bag with like brownies just thrown in.
Yeah.
They aren't Sam's, so they are subpar quality.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's one of those things. It's like, how hard is it to make a brownie?
Ooh, brown. What an offensive thing to make in a Boggin's kitchen.
I know, right?
So, to Queens, yeah, there's been some unrest in Queens since the rather unceremonious murder or accidental death of the Baron.
Serious accident there. That was such a tragedy.
And anyways, patrol and security has been taken over by commoners. Asking around from others not only informed you that Desiree is a significant mover shaker when it comes to how things are being organized, but where you can find her, specifically her hostel.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Are you going straight there? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still going there.
Okay. It's a building that if you don't know that you're looking for it, you would just as soon ignore it. It's not a freehold, but there is a certain amount of glamour that radiates from within that's kind of warm and beckoning, you know, like this is a place where you can be yourself. Up front, there is a very sturdy wooden desk. It's kind of got low lights, and there's a long hallway with like doors on either side of the hallway. And in the very, very back, you can see a light and a table in a communal kitchen. And sitting at the table, like kind of just like head down on the table, holding on to a very, very large warhammer, is a troll woman who is currently like sort of doing the like falling asleep sort of thing from exhaustion while sitting at the table. Oh, and there's a bell at the front desk.
He sort of pauses for a moment, but decides the best course of action is unfortunately to ring the bell. So he puts his hand out and he dings just once.
Yeah. The troll woman kind of like it's like a sigh, and you see her stand up. She is so tall, past 5 feet, past 6 feet, all the way to 7 feet tall. As she grabs that hammer, she does not quite have the energy to like swing it over her shoulder, so it just sort of drags behind her.
Charles is watching that go as it approaches him, but he tries to maintain a pleasant demeanor as he looks up. One of the few times he actually has to look up.
The troll woman looks down at him. Hello, can I help you with something?
Yes. I was hoping to have a conversation, but I seem to have caught you while you were napping. Perhaps I should come back a different day.
No. It's fine. Please. Do you need a room or?
No, not a room. I was wanting to discuss the situation in Queens.
Oh. Yeah. Are they finally sending somebody to take care of stuff or?
Well, I was hoping perhaps maybe I could offer some assistance, or at least get an idea of what's needed.
She kind of gives a
yeah. Go ahead.
Like a head tilt and a squint. I don't understand. What do you mean?
Well, I'm. Perhaps I should introduce myself. I'm Charles. I would prefer you call me Charles, at least in more public settings. Before official business, which I think we are on. This might be on more official terms. I am Kararis, keeper of the Diamond Word, Knight of Manhattan.
I'm Desiree Nottingham. Former adventurer, currently exhausted.
Yes, I can see that. Would you, well, I don't wish to assume it says this is your establishment, but would you like to sit down?
It is my establishment, and yeah, if you want to come to the kitchen, that's fine. This, by the way, I PM'd you her mortal name.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
One of the few NPCs with one because somebody asked.
Yay.
She'll lead the way to the kitchen, and she finally swings that huge ass hammer like over her shoulder. It is roughly the size of a sledgehammer. Handle wise, the head of it is much larger. It's a big fucking hammer.
It's huge, unmanageably huge.
Not unmanageable for Desiree.
Nope. It's like Charles's body.
Yep. That also is not unmanageable for Desiree. She would throw that thing through the window.
Oh man.
So she'll lead Charles to the kitchen. She opens up the fridge and she pulls out like a bottle of mead.
Mm.
Would you like some?
I won't say no. I also stopped by the governor's bakery in Brooklyn and brought some dessert treats. Would you like some?
I won't say no, she says. She grabs two like very heavy crystal glass like mugs for the mead. He does not buy dainty things because she has a hostel and people will break that shit.
Yep.
So these are like very heavy, and she pours him a glass and herself a glass.
Thank you much. And he brings out the things. He doesn't break out the brownies. And he brings out like the macaroons and the cookies and stuff. The cookies are, well, I think they've cooled a bit now, but when I got them, they were fresh out of the oven.
Ah. Well, then I guess I will eat a cookie.
Mm.
And she'll take a cookie, and it looks roughly like the size of a vanilla wafer in her hand, even though it is a regular size cookie. Because she is a giantess.
Yeah. You don't say. You're blowing my mind here, Carol.
What? She takes a gulp of her mead. So, what's your official business? Carraris? Do you have a rank to go with the fancy name?
I thought I did introduce that. It is Sir Carraris, Knight of Manhattan.
So, what official business do you have, Sir Carraris?
Well, Charles sort of leans back. He does take a drink of the mead before he goes on. Well, both Manhattan and, well, especially to a greater degree right now, I would say, Queens are in some rather dire straits.
It's not ideal. I had somebody attacked, some rangers attacked an individual not too long ago. It was a fucking mess.
Yes, I was hearing about that. And unfortunately, after the several strikes that they had made upon Manhattan, it seems they're not that they're deciding to spread their reach into other areas as well.
While everybody's confused, raise the most havoc, right?
I'm hoping that, well, unfortunately, Manhattan's rather small. I'm sorry. I am sad to say that given recent events and the change of leadership and management, that I am the only knight of Manhattan as of this time. So, as far as aid is concerned, I'm afraid I'm I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to bring out the cavalry to the aid of Queens. But that doesn't mean I don't have a potential solution or a proposition.
She kind of like scowls at the word proposition. She's very pretty. Usually she hears it in a terrible way.
I'm sure his psychology and stuff's that he just sort of looks and he just smiles. Is like, I'm sorry, that was probably a very poor word choice on my part. Let's see here. How about an opportunity?
What opportunity? My adventuring days are, well, I thought they were over, and now I find myself patrolling the streets of the city.
I'm wanting to give an opportunity for Queens and Manhattan to become stronger together.
I'm listening.
See, if there's one thing I've been noticing since I've got here, it's this whole... Now, I'm not saying that we should all become one big community of just destroy the lines. Everything should be all one place. I know not everyone's going to go jump ship for that and sing Kumbaya around the campfire. However, if anything's to be believed, especially with the situation of Brooklyn and of course the Ranter attacks, the baronies are in some serious need of rethinking their relationship with one another.
All right.
I'm proposing a way to benefit the baronies as a whole from the not only the alliances between the nobility, but also for the greater benefit of the commoners. I'm wanting to propose something very ambitious. And it's not going to be easy, but I want to try and see if this might be something you and other people you know might be interested in. I want to link freeholds. I want to expand and commingle the freeholds of Manhattan and Queens, and potentially, if I can manage to convince those of influence and power in the Bronx to do the same. A unity between our baronies for the benefit of each other and the people.
Well, I don't have a freehold myself. So, and I'm certainly not going to step into that baronial seat.
Of course not. But as of right now, you are, from what the word on the street is, well, I know there are probably some knights that are probably eyeing the seat, but let's just say politically, my ears to the wall on my ears to the ground on certain things. Unfortunately, those poor knights are not going to get their opportunity to take that seat. They're either going to get one of the two barons currently in the county, depending on which one doesn't become count or countess.
Have you met them?
Both of them.
Think they'll be good for Queens?
I think they'll be both good for them for very different reasons.
Pretty vague answer.
As with anyone, everyone comes with their own problems, and everyone has their own ideas of what will make it better. I have no doubt in my mind that the Baroness Mariposa, if she were to become the Baroness of Queens, would do everything she can to nurture and help Queens grow from its roots.
Mm-hmm.
With the Baron Lejeune, from what I understand, I have no doubt in my mind that he'll be very popular. That the people that he'll give the people what they want.
Uh-huh. So that sounds not incredibly helpful for our situation.
Which is why, and not to mention the fact that, especially in the situation right now, it's probably going to be a while before the tournament actually happens, and we can't have Queens treading water.
Fair enough. And I'm the one they told you is in charge?
I was told you were not necessarily in charge, but someone that was a very well respected and someone who knows Queens, knows the people.
The back of my goddamn hand. She says she's very tired as she says that. She's usually more composed. And she takes a gulp of her meat and sets the glass down. Look, I would love to help you with this like grand unification project because we could really use at least somebody watching our six, you know? Even if that doesn't mean you can lend bodies, it would mean that you can at least, I don't know, be aware and lend glamour or something. But
and not only that, it's if the sorry, forgive me for interrupting, but not only if my plan works well enough, if we can get an idea of it, it'll be a greater expanse that in case there are people who need to go to ground, we can at least be able to support the greater number of people in need.
Well, here's the thing I see. Eventually, we're going to get a new Baron, and from what you tell me, it's going to either be the one with the wings or the one with the tail. Either way, once they step into power, my in chargedness is going to be a pretty moot point. I don't have a freehold. Not to link or to call my own or anything like that. If you want to help me with that, I wouldn't say no, and it'll give me a better footing for negotiating once somebody is sitting on the fancy chair.
Well, we need to start somewhere. Every tree planted starts with a sapling.
Thought it started with a seed. Weird.
Does it start with seeds? Oh. And he sort of saw things for a moment, and he sort of like squints through the human memories. It's like, oh, it is seeds.
So, if your boss wants to sow some seeds and help me establish, I don't know, let's say a popular changeling hostel as a freehold, then it'll give me a little more gravitas in dealing with the future Baron, whoever they may be. Of course, if you don't, I mean, I understand it's a huge undertaking, and I know that you guys must be busy because we're pretty busy too.
Well, as I said, it was going to be a very ambitious project, and everyone's going to have to make some sacrifices somewhere along the way. I will talk to Sebastian and the Baron Sebastian and his wife Alice, and we'll see what kind of a donation we might be able to make, and perhaps you have cauldron houses here, don't you?
I think there's one in every borough.
I can talk to my housemates. They might like the idea of a unified set of freeholds.
Well, make sure you let me know, and I wait with I don't know, bated breath or something. As she just kind of sleepily gestures to hear the fate of my lovely establishment.
Just gonna get a perception psychology on her just to get an overall sense of her, like everything going on with her at the moment. Sorry, I know that's not very specific, but I'm getting a profile on her. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. So, what questions do you have, and I'll fill in what you're picking up.
Let's see here. Is the source of her tiredness just pure exhaustion, or is there something more connected with that?
Oh no, it's physical exhaustion. Like you can tell because like she's not like like every movement is very like reluctant. Like even lifting her glass of mead, it's just like you see like that like kind of like, okay, now I have to move kind of thing. Like the hammer swing earlier was very like ugh. So yeah, she is showing signs of physical exhaustion.
Excuse me. Gotcha. Is her how's her mental state? Is she, I mean, other side from just being tired, has it been like, has she not slept in a while, or is there more going on there?
She's alert and conscious. She's a very no nonsense kind of person. So like her lack of like whimsical like, oh, of course we can do these things, and the kind of cut to the chase pragmatism is it's what she is. It's not like I'm tired so I don't know how to talk to somebody. It's like, oh, he's a knight, that's nice. I'm a 7-foot tall person with a hammer.
Yeah, I could smash him to bits.
I could smash him, and I know where to hide the bodies because there's nobody here in Queens to tell me not to. She's like a distinct lack of fear of the situation.
Yep. Not, I mean, obviously it's not like mind reading, but her receptiveness to the idea.
It seems genuine. She does, but she is. It's very like she knows she's not a baroness. She's not in the line for any like real authority. She doesn't have a title. You would have heard. She's a commoner who doesn't have a freehold, but she does have a place where a lot of changelings who are transient gather. So she's saying, and freeholders do hold more authority than just your average no title commoner. So she's saying, I can help you if I have this, but any help I could give you before that would be temporary and not at all effectual, because she does not have access to the baronal freehold.
Exactly. So get an opportunity to invest in her, get her a freehold going could be a good start to something.
Yes.
Yes, and that is hopefully that is a good plan, especially since there is no baron to give that right at the moment. So, all right, I think that's all I really need to know at this moment. All right. Well. And he's sort of watching her for a moment as she's like making those stiff motions and everything. And he's like, how long has it been since you've gotten at least a moment to rest?
Oh, I don't know, going on 2 days right now, but I'm sure I'll get a good night's rest tonight, provided no more things happen.
I'm actually impressed we managed to be able to have a coherent conversation. Usually after the 36th hour is when people start hallucinating.
You get a couple of winks in here or there, and you find yourself just fine.
Well, make sure you get a good night's rest. I can imagine, after not having gotten at least a good night's sleep in 48 hours, just how sharp your mind must be when it's actually refreshed.
Like freshly broken steel.
Freshly broken steel. Jagged and sharp. Those slivers, they'll stick with you.
It's broken steel sends a message that anything else just seems to lack. It says, in battle, I'm harder than your weapons. And she's going to point above her doorway. And you may not have bothered to notice it before or whatever. But there is a broadsword, and it is broken in the center, and it is mounted in 2 pieces above her doorway.
That sounds like a story.
Maybe someday we'll swap stories.
I think I'd like that very much.
Maybe we can do it in my brand new freehold.
I think, well, should I manage to make that happen, I would very much like that. Until then, he holds up his glass of mead. To new beginnings.
New beginnings. She'll clink her glass against his and finish her mead. And if you ever find yourself in need of a place to rest that isn't the stables of Manhattan, whatever you've got going on in that situation, feel free to swing by. I've got the coziest beds in the state.
Well, I appreciate it, and I will keep your hospitality in mind.
You do that, she says, and gives another yawn.
You get yourself some rest. And have a good day.
You too.
And with that, I think we're good. We'll deal with the Bronx person later.
Good. And so we'll end our scene here. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.